Seasonic, the heart of your system.
And the comedy shot for IFA 2019 is Leo sat in the Razer throne of RGB. The view actually sat here looking that way, not so bad. Your view this way? Good Lord, what can I say? We've got 3 laptops to look at in the backstage briefing room at Razer, albeit we can still hear Pink Floyd playing in the background, which is quite surreal. The right-hand most of the 3 is the Razer Blade Stealth 13. This is in what they call Mercury white. The keyboard's white, however, the chassis is aluminium and aluminium coloured. This has got the Ice Lake processor that can be configured from 15 watts up to 25 watts. Intel was telling us about this processor yesterday, albeit very briefly. It's the only laptop on the market at the moment that has that configuration feature, although Intel obviously supplies it as part and parcel of what you get with Ice Lake. So you can configure it up from 15 to 25 watts, which means that despite the amazingly slender chassis, which Razer tells us is only 0.5 mm thicker than the previous Stealth 13, that you can indeed handle the extra 10 watts, which is after all a significant percentage extra. If we come down the other end to the black laptop, that looks very similar, however it has GTX 1650 graphics, i.e. it's a step up from the Irus Plus. It also costs £300 more in the UK. Looking at the price we've got, the white one's $14.99, the black one $17.99. These 2 laptops are not identical, however they look really similar. The Ice Lake processor specifically is the i7-1065 G7, so it has the full Monty graphics. The significant thing is this black one runs on NVIDIA when the going gets tough. And then we've got the monster fella. We have the Blade Studio Edition, Blade 15 specifically. Studio Edition, that'll get your ears jingling and jangling if you know anything about the recent NVIDIA initiatives, because NVIDIA, of course, is pushing its RTX Studio big time. And Razer is quite clearly a partner of NVIDIA. Indeed, during our briefing, we had an NVIDIA guy sat in the room just keeping tabs on what was going on. Pricing of this laptop, £4,000 in the UK, 4,400 euros. So relatively speaking, expensive laptop compared to the Acer and Asus laptops we saw yesterday. It's actually pretty blooming cheap. I find it hysterical this full-on laptop still has RGB in the keyboard. I mean, this strikes me as slightly bizarre, actually, if I'm entirely frank. I mean, look at it. It is a workstation, no two ways about it. It's got an i7-9750H processor, 32 gigabytes DDR4 memory. The graphics chip is NVIDIA Quadro RTX 5000 Max-Q. We heard a lot about Quadro Max-Q yesterday. I've asked NVIDIA to clarify exactly what difference that makes to the power of the Quadro processors, or GPU rather. They are going to get back to me in the next day or two so I can have some clarity. Quadro Max-Q has been a new one on me at IFA. I'm learning about it all the time. Beyond that, as ever, Razer is talking about their vapor chamber cooling and such like, because you have to keep this hardware under control. So we've got 3 laptops on display here, 2 tiddlers, 1 big beast, and if you step back a bit, Andrew, actually, you might find this vaguely interesting. It's a chart I hadn't seen before, which is showing the breakdown of the features of NVIDIA Game Ready drivers, Studio drivers and Quadro drivers. Out in the booth area, Razer's pushing me to have a look at this, which is the Blade 15 base model. They're quite excited about this. i7-9750H processor and RTX 2060 graphics. 144Hz display, 15-inch, thin bezel, all looks good. Decent amount of memory. Admittedly, it's an up to 512 gigabytes of SSD and such like, and you get a bay. So a decent laptop, but nonetheless, I'm taken by the Blade 15 Advanced model. 244Hz or 4K OLED, same i7-9750H, and up to RTX 2080 Max-Q graphics. One thing all the building work at IFA is doing for Razer is they're hiding the fact the fans in this are continuing to howl away even on the Windows desktop. You stick a high-end processor and high-end graphics in a thin chassis, the heat has to go somewhere. But even so, the advanced model, I like that. If you're going up market, you should go all the way. Seeing this row of Blade Pros reminds me that Pro in this context means 17-inch. The 17's in tiny, tiny figures. So it's a proper 17-inch screen, 144 Hz, good for gaming. As you can see, they've actually got Steam installed on this laptop. So in this context, Pro does not mean really professional. It means you can do proper work on it. Nonetheless, the workstation that we've seen, the Studio, that's the real big boy. This Pro is a big laptop, but it's not the highest end that they do anymore. It's also worth noting that this i7-9750H laptop also has Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 6 is one of the features we're going to see a lot of with Intel Ice Lake 10th gen. However, Wi-Fi 6 is not brand new. It's just going to become ubiquitous, well, from here on in, really. So that was Razer showing us two tiny little stealth laptops, including one 13-inch, which has the only 25-watt Ice Lake CPU configuration that you can, well, you can't currently buy it, you'll be able to buy it very shortly, but it's the only one of that setup at IFA 2019, which is quite remarkable. Well done, Razer. Furthermore, we've seen a mighty £4,000 workstation with a great big Quadro in it. So from one extreme, quite literally, to the other. It is absolutely crystal clear that for creators is the thing. That new workstation laptop, that certainly looks interesting. Nonetheless, my personal boat was floated, shall we say, by that 13-inch stealth with the Ice Lake and the Ice Lake graphics. I want to see just how well Ice Lake graphics can perform. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the bell button, subscribe. We'll alert you to new videos as they become available. I'm weoght for Kit Guru. This is Razer at IFA 2019.